Welcome to Northside Marine, and behind me is Jeanneau Merry Fisher 1095.
We are really excited to take you on a tour of this 1095 today and answer questions like how many people can sleep on board, can you use it for a day cruiser and an overnighter, and how functional is the interior. I'm Brooke and this is Damien, and welcome back to the Rudder.
Today we're going to have a look through the luxurious Merry Fisher 1095, currently the prestige boat in the Merry Fisher range, but that's all about to change next year with the big 1295 coming out. But today we're going to have a look through this really lovely boat. Brooke is very excited.
So before we jump on board, we're going to take you on a tour around the hull.
The first thing we've got to say is, I know we're here at Northside and it's on a trailer. This is not a trailerable boat. 3.4 metre beam. In Australia, you need special permits, and there's no real trucks around that are going to pull this thing. So it does go onto a sling if you want to get it in or out of the water. The voluminous hull is designed to be well supported at the stern to benefit from good acceleration, good trimming, and this massive boat has the capacity to reach speeds in excess of 30 knots. The hull on the 1095 is optimised for outboard engines and has a max engine power of 300 horsepower. Moving down the hull, we've got those stiff, sharp clines, and moving through the back, just have a look at this thing. You can spot it a mile away with that Merry Fisher look, and it's absolutely massive. So the waterline will be somewhere around here, so you've got a lot of volume. Let's go through to the stern and have a look around. So back at the stern, in this size boat, you've got the twin swim platforms. I'm obviously standing where the engines will go. You can see our shore power here and plenty of venting to keep the inside nice and cool. Also on the stern here, there's a few upgrades just to draw your attention. They've now put a cleat on the back. It's not just on the top rail. They've moved the cleats, so the cleat on the back means you can tie off to the dock in a much more secure manner. Also on the starboard platform while we're here, the ladder used to be on top of the deck. I really love this system. They put it now underneath, all tucked away, so it doesn't get in the way while you're driving around. Let's go into the cockpit and have a look around.
Everything in this cockpit has been thoughtfully designed with one objective in mind: luxury. You can see here there's nice modular seating, and this whole area can actually be enclosed so you're in out of the elements. There's the option to add an additional canopy, which is really important to be protected out of the sun. This seating has lots of extra storage around it, can be modified depending on the number of people and also how you want to use the space. The 1095 comes with an insert that transforms into a daybed. As set up in this configuration though, it comfortably seats 7 adults. The cushions are removable, again, when being stored to protect them from the elements. They can be unclipped and stored in the cabin or even in the lazarette. One thing I really want to point out though, that this whole section slides forward, enabling you to lift the engines up out of the water when not in use. So this whole space reduces, but also slides back when underway. So you've got this extra large space while on the water. The table here has 2 different positions it can be placed. This is to enable the cockpit to be used if the engines are actually up out of the water. You've got the tuner door here for easy access when you're at a marina, in and out through the side here, which is fantastic. You don't have to go through the back. Because the 1095 has outboard engines, we have a super large lazarette area for storage. So let's go down there and have a look now.
To get access to the lazarette, you just remove the table, put that up out of the way, and it's spring loaded. There's an optional extra for a ladder, which you really do need to get down here because it is very deep. So that's up to my hip, and it goes all the way back. Oh, there's even more. So much storage all the way back here. More access to look at the fuel bulbs and more storage under there. Conduits for all your cabling. I actually quite like this, that those conduits you can get access to, so if you want to run extra cables, it's available to do that. under these 2 storage cabinets one will be all your batteries. You've got your cabling conduit on the sides, either side. So you have access to the fuel tanks. So you can do inspections with that. Whoa. But there is so much room down here. You can store floaties. I've stored fishing rods, generators, whatever you want, you can store down here. Also, this is a space if you get a genset that can come in here and be out of the way.
Another great function of the 1095 is on the port side, they have a hidden gate that you can access the swim platform. Let's go have a look. It looks like a seat, but it's actually a little gate, which is fantastic when you're jumping off board. Moving around the 1095 is super easy with walkways on both sides. The walkway on the starboard side is actually a lot wider than it is on the port side, and ladies, stay tuned because there's an extra benefit of that when we go into the bow cabin, so stay tuned, I'll show you that later. And you can see here there's extra high guardrails for safety the whole way around. Let's head up to bow now. Because you have an extra wide beam width on the 1095, there's a lot of space, so let's go have a look. As I just mentioned, the extra large beam width allows for a lot of living area on the bow. You have the 2 chase lounges here and the ability to drop them down into different positions. The different infills here also allow it to be an entire day bed because this one drops down as well. Great use of cup holders while you're up on the bow here as well. Underneath here, you just move these infills and extra light goes into the bow cabin, which we'll see shortly when we go underneath, and you can open the hatch for extra ventilation downstairs as well. The 1095 also has the option for an extra storage compartment under here, which is fantastic for your ropes and fenders. We've got an electric anchor windlass, which can be operated from up here on the bow or from the helm, and a deep anchor well. This boat is also fitted with a bow ladder, making it super easy to pull bow first onto a beach and exit straight down the ladder. Storage racks on the roof for stand-up paddleboards or tenders, and there's also enough space on the roof for solar panels if you want to install them. I'm going to move around the port side of the boat now to show you the ease of access around there, and I'll meet you back in the galley. Moving into the galley now, you've got this extra wide entrance area with glass doors, and that shuts off the elements nicely, and of course it clicks in place to secure the doors open. You've got the option for carpets, or you can also just opt for the timber. My preference is the carpet because it gives it that extra luxurious feel. Block out curtains the whole way around, which is fantastic because this turns into another berth if you have an extra guest staying on board. Let's start on the port side here. You see it's currently set up as a dining area, but this seat here has 3 different configurations. It's currently set up as a dinette, but when you're underway, it turns into a first mate seat, so it flips across easily, and you can have a couple of adults sitting here comfortably as you're cruising. Flipping it back over now, and you can see here that the table actually drops down so that that seat can flip back. You've got a storage well under the carpet here for additional supplies. I don't actually know how to open this. Whee! Not super deep, but a little bit of area there for some dry foods perhaps. Moving across to the galley area now, you've got extensive space for food prep, and I love this different coloured bench tops they've put. They've put the lighter colour in this version, the previous colour was the dark. You've got your sink and your tap here, nicely hidden away. And you've also got 2 cookers, which is great when you're staying overnight for a few days, or to cook up your fish that you've caught. The difference between the 1095 and the 895, in the 895 your lid actually flips up and you've got your sink and your cooker underneath, so this is a lot more extra storage. This model has the option of the overhead cabinets throughout, both in the galley. We've got extra storage over here as well, but also in the bow, which we'll have a look at shortly. Lots of storage here. You've got your bin, which slides out. I think that's a really great touch they've added there. Dry food compartment here with your wine storage. This here, you can actually option up for a microwave, but heaps of deep storage. You've got your fridge in this section here, which despite the size of it, you can store a significant amount of food. And you've got cutlery drawer. Don't know what this is, and more storage. Jeanneau have fitted the LED lighting around the floor and in the roof, which provides a lovely ambience in the evening while on the water. Twin sunroof, which again lets plenty of light in, and you can also pull the screens across and totally block out the light. This boat is also fitted with air conditioning, which is a great touch for those warm summer evenings. We're going to move up to the helm now. I'm going to hand over to Damien because he's far more excited than I am to talk about that aspect of this boat.
Welcome to the helm, my favourite position. It's very similar to all the other Merry Fishers, but you just have more space. Although we don't have the engines, this vessel will be fitted with electric control outboards, so there is the capacity to add helm master if you'd like that. Let's have a look at everything. Fusion stereo, this is the Yamaha control, and a touchscreen Garmin. Very clean, very elegant place to drive your boat from. Moving down to the side, our bow thruster, trim tab control. I do like this addition of these little bars so your knee doesn't get in the way and accidentally touch any of the rocker switches, but all your rocker switches are out of the way. Very easy place to drive. An additional item on the dashboard is a water gauge for your water tank, and I'll tell you a little bit of a secret about that soon. Such an enjoyable place to drive this vessel. You've got the bolster up as I do at the minute. Drop that down and sit back for your long passages, and there's ability to move the seat backwards and forwards. Also on the Merry Fisher range is the captain's door, so you've got easy access. If you want to undo your ropes from the cleat, yell at someone, have a look, or just get some fresh air in. Something that I really, for all boat owners, you must make sure that you lock the doors in place. If you have your hand there and the door's not locked and comes and slams in, it's not going to be pleasant. All right, let's go down to the cabins, and Brooke's going to show you all the sleeping compartments.
Heading underneath now, there's not much I don't like about the Jeanneau range, but there is one thing. It's the sharp steps that you have to navigate on the way down to the cabins. This boat though luckily has got carpet fitted, which makes it a little easier to navigate, but the steps can be quite sharp in the Jeanneau range. Underneath we have 3 cabins, and that's largely due to the extra beam width on the 1095. Let's head into the portside cabin first and have a look what that's all about. In the portside cabin, plenty of room for 2 friendly adults, but definitely 2 children. We've got storage space across here, air conditioning control so you can moderate the temperature specifically for this cabin. Plenty of natural light, and if you don't have the aircon or you don't want the aircon on, you can just open this hatch here for some beautiful natural airflow. We've also got plenty of storage room for your guests where they can throw their bags and belongings, and great little seat here if you want to have a seat while you're getting dressed or getting ready. Let's head over into the starboard cabin now and have a look at that. The starboard cabin is significantly smaller than the portside cabin that we were just in. Capacity for 1 adult or 1 child. You can have this as a storage cabin or as a berth. This one here, they've fitted the second fridge, which is fantastic when you're doing overnighters. Exactly the same size as the one upstairs, and then the bottom you've got storage for your belongings. I'm going to slide down and you can see the space for sleeping in here as an adult. You'd have your head at this end, and I can't, there's probably another 30 or 40 centimeters down there. Plenty of natural light again. You've got your hatch for some airflow, and I think there's some storage here as well. Oh, here we go. And no doubt this is an area here that Damien would be thrilled to have a look at. You've got your hot water system and all your electrics in here. Welcome to the master suite, the bow cabin, the stateroom, whatever you want to call it. I know I've used this word a lot in the 1095, but this is luxury. You've got the capacity to put an infill in here, which actually extends this bed into a real queen size bed. The infill is not in here at the moment. My husband Damien is 6'2" and he has no issues sleeping in this size bed in our 895. We saw up in the bow earlier that when you do remove the infills on the bow, lots of natural light comes through, and also you can open this hatch for airflow if you don't have the air conditioner on. Now, the secret I told you before when we were up moving to the bow, the starboard side walkway is significantly wider than the port side, and here's the benefit. This vessel has been fit with overhead cupboards, and the depth of this one is significantly greater because the walkways upstairs are wider. So you've got the overhead cupboards here, great little storage space here, and I'm going to move over here and show you what I mean. Only half the depth because the walkway upstairs is a little narrower. This is actually the infill, great LED lighting the whole way round. Got storage, the AC control for moderating this cabin, and some more storage. The last little bit of storage I want to show you is the space under the bed. You've got the access cupboard through there if you don't want to lift the bed, or the bed easily lifts up because you've got the hydro lifters. One more little space we haven't showed you yet is the head, so let's move into there. Typical for the Jeanneau range, you have a porcelain basin, an electronic head, great natural light, a mirror overhead, and storage space there. Oh, I forgot to mention, the secret Damien was telling you about when he was up at the Helm was this is actually a fresh water toilet which minimizes smells. I want to show you this shower is a separate shower that you can shut away, and it means that you don't get the whole head wet when you're showering. Lots of room, plenty of space to have a shower. All right, that's the tour of the downstairs. Let's head back upstairs. Well, that's it. That's a wrap. That's a tour of this beautiful 1095. Thank you so much to Northside Marine for allowing us access to this boat.
My next problem is trying to get Brooke off this boat, but if you've got any questions or comments, leave them down below, and we'll see you next time on the Rudder.